A new twist in the IRS targeting scandal. At hearings last week, employees claimed one of the president's appointees at the agency, one of only two, played a significant role. William Wilkins leads the IRS Office of Chief Counsel, and now we're learning that his name appears on the White House visitor logs in April of 2012. That's just days before the Chief Counsel's office issued new guidelines really cracking down on Tea Party groups. Jay Sekulow is Chief Counsel to the American Center for Law and Justice and representing more than 24 groups that were targeted. And I think that number may have grown, Jay. Welcome.
It has.
What do you make of this? Because, we can't confirm it's the William Wilkins. Someone else could have that name. And we certainly don't know what they talked about, if it's indeed him at the White House.
Well, I think that at this point, we know that based on Carter Hall's testimony, he was the IRS lawyer that talked about getting guidance and direction, and basically that control was taken by the Office of Chief Counsel of the IRS, that it's probably time to bring the Chief Counsel, William Wilkins, before the House committees that are investigating and find out exactly what he said or did not say, what meetings he was attended. Was he aware of the situation? Because you're correct on a data point here, a date point that's important. 2 days after the meeting at the White House, if this is indeed the Chief Counsel of the IRS meeting at the White House, two days later, new initiatives came forward from Chief Counsel's office through the IRS to my clients, where the most intrusive questions were being asked about membership lists and data, information about activities that were way beyond the scope of legitimate inquiry. One client was asked about their prayer activity. Another was told that taking a pro-life position was not supported by science, and they used a general memorandum that evidently came out of IRS Chief Counsel's office to put these questions together. So I think one thing that's happened here, we now know that it's not two rogue agents in Cincinnati. We know it went to the highest level, the presidential appointee, to his office, the Office of Chief Counsel, an office, by the way, I served in when I graduated law school a long time ago. My first job was with Chief Counsel's office. I was in their office in Atlanta at the time. And the idea that Chief Counsel just meeting and 2 days later happenstance just creates this new set of inquiries, it's hard to buy it. They can answer the questions by being put under oath, ask the relevant questions, address those issues, and find out what the Chief Counsel knew. This was in the middle of the 2010 election cycle. So there are significant questions, and this keeps going up the ladder. I mean, it started in Cincinnati, then it went to Washington, then it went to Lois Lerner in her level. She takes the Fifth Amendment. Now it's gone to the Chief Counsel's office, and people are talking about the Chief Counsel himself. So there's a lot of questions that have to be answered.
Well, and you mentioned Carter Hall, one of the longtime employees at the IRS, who said that he was asked to vet some Tea Party cases, and then he was told that they needed to go to the Office of the Chief Counsel. That would be William Wilkins.
Right.
He also said at one point that after his decades of service there and his determination on these cases, that he was told to give them to somebody who'd only been at the agency for a few months. What does that suggest to you? Because he sounds like he's making a direct link that William Wilkins was involved.
Well, it sure sounds that way, and I think what you've got is the politicization of these applications. You had agents and attorneys that were reviewing it in the normal course. Remember, this was shortly after the applications were filed. It was going through a regular review process. Then all of a sudden in 2011, everything gets turned upside down. You've got Carter Hall, a 48-year veteran, who, by the way, is a defendant in our lawsuit, because at the time it looked like he was the one of the main focus and certainly was in control of some of this. That may not be the case now. We'll see. And the reality is he's saying that he was directed by Lois Lerner and her staff that this was to go to Chief Counsel. And he said that under oath. I have no reason to believe he'd be lying under oath. I'm sure he was telling the truth. He'd face perjury if he was not. And I think Lois Lerner needs to be called back. I'd give Lois Lerner immunity, by the way, Shannon, at this point. Let her just tell us what happened. And I think you're going to find out, unfortunately, for the IRS, that the situation does not get any better. You remember they put a proposal out to do an expedited review of the IRS applications for our clients. In fact, they sent us a letter. Let me show you what I've got here. This is our response to the IRS offer for a quick expedited review. These are the applications that have been pending with the IRS for 3 years, and we simply told them they need to do their job and approve the applications on their merits. And this rule that they put forward is not even the rule supported by the law. So the fact is, I think the office right now is in a complete... It's really incapable of adjudicating these matters right now, and something has to be done on an expeditious basis, and so far we're not seeing that. Their offer of resolution here was just completely not acceptable. In fact, it was not the legal standard of what these organizations are allowed to do. It would have put a burden on them that no other groups have. That was their offer of compromise. So I think Werfel, the new commissioner, or the acting commissioner, needs to take more aggressive action, and we need to find out what the Chief Counsel knew.
All right, super quick answer here. Best case scenario for the White House,
Yep.
if it wasn't him at the meeting or at that meeting, they did not discuss any of these issues. When he found out or was in some way linked by the employee's sworn testimony, William Wilkins, to this, the White House's guy in the IRS, is it possible he did not tell the White House about what was going on? And if he didn't, why?
Well, anything's possible, but if he didn't, it was because they're trying to shield the president. But we do know that the deputy chief of staff knew. You know, you got to put the links together. I'm going to do this really quick. Lois Lerner's lawyer is a former law partner of the White House counsel. The chief counsel of the IRS, William Wilkins, was the attorney pro bono for Jeremiah Wright, President Obama's pastor. These are more than just coincidental links. And I think what you have to do is we've got to get to the truth. We need to ask the question, were you at the meeting? Was there a meeting at the White House? What was discussed regarding these cases or these issues? And it's either going to be, yes, I was there, no, I wasn't, and it's either going to be, this is what was discussed, or he's going to say some kind of executive privilege. But we need to find out the truth, and that's the only reason the only way we're going to get to this is right now getting William Wilkins before the House.
Well, the House Committee, Oversight Committee tells me they're going to do that and try to get him under oath. We shall see. Jay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Shannon.